What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Piscean Predator. We back today with some TPP True Crime Talk. We're going to cover day 2 of the Murdaugh trial. Now, today we got to see the first witnesses come up and be questioned by prosecution and defense. Prosecution did a really good job of laying out just the simple facts, not just the evidence that was recovered, the timeline of, officers getting there, but also like really clarifying the officers' role as being there as first responders to make sure there's no more current threat, and to basically just maintain the crime scene as best as possible. They're not there to investigate, but to maintain that crime scene as best as possible. We do the crime scene tape, and now it was supposed to be very dark where they were at, so the officers took upon themselves to use pieces of crime scene tape to actually mark in the ground where there was casings or other possible evidence. They weren't processing the scene, they were just merely protecting continuity of the evidence and the crime scene itself, so that once proper investigators and crime scene analysis could get there to take over, that nothing was disturbed as best as possible. Now the prosecution, they came out and they defined that really, really well for us, whereas the defense literally spent the entire time trying to basically show that the responding officers were in the wrong by some of the things that they did. And reality is, defense, in my opinion, did the same thing they did yesterday, and that was literally all they did was help the prosecution. They try to attack these officers all in a way to make it seem like they were inept at their job and they didn't know what they were doing. But every single one of those officers that were up on the stand today, the witnesses, they were on point. None of them backed down from the defense's like little side-handed comments to try to make it seem like they didn't know what they're doing or they had made a mistake. These officers did the best that they could do for the situation given. I don't see how any of them messed up any sort of investigation as far as the crime scene went. I mean, they did their best. They showed up, they made sure there was no more current threat, and they secured the area the best that they could until the proper organizations could come and check it out. Crime scene investigation and detectives. So far, I'm still very unimpressed by the defense. I was expecting so much more from this. I thought they would get up there and totally have the witnesses tripping over their words, or just making the whole situation a situation to where the jury wouldn't believe the circumstantial evidence of everything. But it isn't. It's, still where I'm standing, looking specifically at the evidence. I'm not talking about knowing about the trial because of videos that have been made on speculations and rumors and this and that. I'm not going off that. I'm going purely off what I've heard so far in the court. The prosecution laying out their evidence, the defense trying to defend that evidence, and as of right now, 2 days in, in my opinion, if I was to be asked, do you believe the individual, Mr. Alex Murdaugh, is guilty or innocent? And as of right now, I'd be more swayed to lean towards he's guilty. That's not, going off of what I know of the case, but that's literally what's been laid out. The fact that right at the scene, there's no particular threat. He showed up, he supposedly showed up and found his wife and his son dead with multiple gunshots. Had time to go up to his house to retrieve a firearm for protection in case somebody else was there. Come all the way back, make the phone call to 911, and then the amount of time, about 20 minutes for that first officer to get there. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. And so I might not be going 100% off the evidence given in court, but I mean, that was evidence given in court, so that leaves room for so much stuff to happen, from clothing changes to ditching a firearm that was used in the murder. There's just too much time. And then the suspect, Mr. Murdaugh's, his body language, the way he was acting, the way he sounded, it just didn't seem right. Something seemed so off. And then the second responder rolls up, and he's literally talking to one of the first responders, the arriving officer that was first there. He's talking to him, and as the other gentleman walks by, he literally stops what he's doing just to engage with the other officer. It's something, the vibe is just not right. It just didn't seem right. And one of the first things that Mr. Murdaugh brought up when he was talking to the arriving officer was he brought up the fact that his son, was in the trial with the boating accident where he killed a lady and was found guilty for, the things that he was found guilty for. And it immediately was saying, like, he's received threats and this and that and physical violence against him. So right out the gate, Mr. Murdaugh is like, he's basically implying that he knows that this is connected, which just always seems fishy. So, like, I know everybody acts differently to whatever situation they're in, but that being said, I don't know. And just something don't seem right on those videos. Something don't seem right in the 911 call. Yeah. So between the 911 calls, his actions, the fact that there's casings with the same ballistic markings, there on the scene that match up to guns owned from the property. There's just a lot of circumstantial evidence just leaning in that direction, on top of the individual's actions. Now, if I take and factor in things I know from outside of this exact murder, this double murder, we know that this man has gotten himself in trouble over fraud. His housekeeper mysteriously fell down some stairs and died, and he talked the family into allowing him to claim it on the insurance in a way that, the family could get paid, but yet kept the money. So we're talking about somebody that has no regard for other people, really. It's bananas, dude. So yeah, put all that stuff aside, though. Literally just with the evidence given in the case, it's not looking good for him, in my opinion. But we still got some days to roll. There's still got a few days to roll in this case, and we'll see if prosecution may have more evidence, more damning witnesses that will just, make this whole theory of the prosecutions seem like it makes sense. And we still got time for the defense to pull a wild card out. So I guess we will just have to see how this goes. But as of right now, day 2, for sure's came up in question. It is pretty exciting. It's good times. If you're into this kind of thing, which I am. So that's a quick update for day 2 of the Murdaugh case. And yeah, guys, if you haven't been following it, definitely check it out. It's a great representation of how trials are supposed to be played out. Yeah, that's an update, boys, girls. Much love. Your boy, Bison Predator. I'm out.